Welcome to Beauty Flip. I'm Edda, where I help ordinary people discover what's extraordinary about them. Today, we are diving straight into the hornet's nest. Yep, time to figure out what's so scary about being fat and ugly. Okay, welcome to my podcast. I'm so excited. We are going to dive into a very sort of specific segment of Beauty Flip. This is going to be about our relationship with our bodies, which every once in a while we just put our toe into the water. Here we go. We're going to dive right in. Splasharoomy. Yeah, we are going to get serious here, folks. And I hope that every human listens to this podcast, these ones in particular in regard to the body, because whether you're a man or a woman, if you have a woman in your life, which you do, this podcast applies to you because it applies to them. Okay, we're going to get into something that I call the fear of being fat and ugly. Yeah, most Americans are so afraid of being fat and ugly that let's just talk about some stats here as to how early this comes online. By the age of 10, and for those of you who don't have a 10-year-old in your life right now, that is someone who is in fourth grade, someone who still believes in Santa, someone who still believes in the Tooth Fairy and in the Easter Bunny, okay? This is someone, if we're looking at what they're learning in school, what they're learning are potentially like division and reading at a fourth grade level, which means they are just beginning to get into words that have 2 syllables. I just want you to hear that because 80% of all American girls have started dieting at 10 years old. 10. They believe in Santa, but somehow they actually think that they know what to do with their body. They've never taken biology in school, and yet somehow they're messing with their own biology. They are willing to cut all the ways that they need to be nutritionalized, and yet their body is growing and growing at a fast rate. Okay, but let's continue on because that's just one of the stats. Did you know that 50% of all young 6 to 8-year-old American girls have started to think about dieting because they think they're too fat? 6 years old. You haven't even started school. You don't even maybe know how to read much, maybe a little. You don't even know how to do your additions. You're going to be learning words like how to spell things like home. You don't even know what biology is, and yet when you look in the mirror, you think you are too fat and you are thinking about dieting. This is the world that we live in. This is the uneven playing field. And if you are a man and you're telling me right now that this uneven playing field is a ridiculous concept, I want you to think long and hard about your sister. I want you to think long and hard about if you have a daughter, a niece, anybody. Because what they're now doing to themselves is they are cutting off the valued, needed nutrition in order to grow and be healthy and strong and have a mind that is completely being nourished with the food that they intake so that they can do the things that are asked of them, required of them in any one given day. And if they have any desire to be an athlete, that they would have enough nutrition so that they could build the muscle, the strength, and the fortitude to be an athlete. So think long and hard before you think that Beauty Flip is a stupid concept, because it is so powerful. We live in a world where we are constantly being put to the test. Yeah, not just being asked to be a better human. We're being constantly asked to be put to the test so that we will perform better and fit into slots that are so unrealistic that truthfully what it does to 50% of this population, if not more, is takes us so out of our wheelhouse that we actually are unable to be the beautiful, powerful human beings that we are meant to be. But we spend so much effort and time on trying to not be fat or ugly, which we'll get into that one too. But let's talk a little bit about the biology of who we are and what's happening and why the heck one of the biggest aspects of this uneven playing field is the fear of our bodies and the fear of us, God forbid, being normal or strong or powerful. Let's dive in. We're going to go into a little bit of the biology of what's happening when we're this young. Ultimately, the metabolism of a child is so different than an adult because they are actually growing. And if you've been a parent, you've seen this. You've seen when you've turned your child down for a nap, and when you wake up, you're like, oh my God, you're bigger, because their bodies are actively growing. And so part of what happens is this sort of like this process where sometimes the body will sort of build up and have a certain amount of, if you will, fat stores in order to then grow the body. And we have all seen like a child maybe in their teen years grow 2, 4, 6 inches in a year, that when puberty hits, there's something that is so powerful, and so many things just like literally start to build, change, and grow. The problem with dieting before puberty happens is we are stunting the actual abilities of what the body needs to do, to the point where we might stunt growth. If we are also stunting too much nutrition because we're afraid of how a child looks, a girl looks in a bathing suit or in her gymnastics outfit or whatnot, what we are doing is we're actually taking away the nutritional needs that the brain needs. The brain is working very hard. We are, if you remember some of the things that I said earlier in the podcast, is we are in this place of a total like taking in and mapping our brain. Basically, from the time we are itty bitty babies, 0 to 6, 7, 8, 9, we are in a huge, just like drinking in what we see, what we know, what we understand the world to be. So when I say that, the implications, if you begin to think dieting is okay at that age, guess what? Your brain will lock it into place, and you will forever look through the perception. Remember that when we looked at that our brain is in a black box and you are literally just intaking the various signals from the world, and then your brain interprets them. Well, your brain will interpreting all the time some version of dieting. I can tell you, I myself for sure started dieting when I was 13. And the crazy thing about it was when I look back at those pictures, I was healthy, I was athletic, I had a very beautiful, svelte, muscular body. I did not need to diet. Now I want you to hear this again. I didn't have those things because I was dieting. I had those things. And yet I constantly started churning in the fear that I would get fat. And then I started dieting. Raise your hands, just raise them up there. If you, like me, said, God damn it, I can't be fat, I can't be fat, I can't be fat, I can't be fat, I can't be ugly, I can't be fat, I gotta fit in, I can't be fat, I can't be ugly, I can't be fat, can't be ugly. Oh no, oh no. Yeah, because that was like basically all of our little chorus songs, is to some degree or another, we were walking around smiling, nodding, talking to our girlfriends and the various boyfriends that we had at school, pretending like we're normal, while we go home and we wrap our thighs in cellophane and we cut sugar out of our diet and we're going to be vegan or vegetarian, or we're going to go on a gluten-free kick, or we're going to have only keto. Now, please hear, any of these choices are okay for an adult. And even, I will parenthetically say, and please know, as an adult, you are so affected by the diet culture of America that you yourself are most likely afraid of being fat. And so you yourself are choosing things because you don't trust your body. And this here is so key, because what we are teaching our children from a very young age is your body cannot be trusted. So you can think back to what Lauren and I were talking about last week when we were talking about the power of the body, and yet at the same time, how we ourselves basically begin to take over our body and treat it like an animal that needs to be trained. And whether that's just the basis of it or there's even worse things we do. But I can tell you right now, the diet culture in America is off the hook insane. There is, unfortunately, a huge business in dieting and exercising. Let's talk about those numbers. Why this is so prevalent in America. Let's just remember that America, is mostly built on capitalism, and that ultimately, if we are making money, we approve of things. Now, yes, to some degree or another, we have things like the FDA and certain amounts of protection. But truthfully, especially in today's day and age, we are seeing even that erode. So there's this is a little bit of a nebulous category, the diet industry. But when we kind of look at the dietary supplement market, which is just one tiny part of this whole thing, we are looking at, in 2025, the market was $68.74 billion. Yes. And that is projected to reach 131 billion by 2033. These are things specifically that are fat weight loss pills, metabolism boosters, fat burners, detoxes, anything that sort of follows under this umbrella. Okay, so that's just one little slice. Now let's look at Ozempic and all of the GLP. And this is just America, by the way. I am looking at numbers just for America. So Ozempic and GLP-1 drugs in America, these sort of like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, GLPs, are right now $70.8 billion. And by 2023, the projection is $201 billion. Let's go a little further, though. Those are just two slices of this whole land of dieting. So let's just look at sort of like the category of weight loss foods and diet drinks. Is only a meager $38 billion industry. And this is diet shakes, beverages, food, meal replacements, weight loss, etc. The weight loss books industry is right now currently at about $1 billion in revenue. So people are just buying up books. The weight loss coaches, so including sort of like medical coaches and whatnot, we have a $90 billion coaching weight loss program industry. We also have, if we want to look at like gyms in general, which, gyms, fitness, this is where it gets a little bit iffy, but we're going to go here anyway. We're looking at 45 to 46 billion in 2025, and that will be up to sort of mid 50s by 2030. Nearly 77 million Americans held some sort of gym or athletic membership in 2024. So there's one more fact. And now that we really don't read books and stuff like that, I thought, oh, it would be good to see where do weight loss apps fall in the whole like genre of apps. So top grossing apps in this order, basically. Number one, games. Duh, that makes sense. Two is entertainment and streaming. Oh, yeah, we all have that. And then it goes right into dating apps, social media, and then we are into dieting. Number five, dieting, health, and fitness. Okie dokie artichokes. I think we just like named a whole bunch of stuff, but what we do if we do this math, not the mindfuck math, this math leads up to we spend billions and billions of dollars on trying not to be fat. Does it ever do you ever think about why the fuck do Americans spend this much money on not being fat when other countries just aren't fat? Did you ever wonder about that? Do you ever wonder about that? It's crazy, right? Like, what the fuck? Why are we so fat? Well, we know to some degree why, but why are we so obsessed with not being fat? And third question, doozy of a question. If we're so obsessed with it, why the fuck are we still so fat? Did you ever want to think about that? And did you know that most, oh, this one is a hard one to hear, diets fail? Yep. Yes, they do. They fail. Yeah, even most of us know, like as we're getting on the horse of a diet, that on the back end, we don't even know the way off of that diet. So many times, especially the more aggressive the diet, you don't know how to then go back to eat normal. Most people claim they just don't know how to eat normal when they are trying to figure out how to lose weight. Another huge complaint when we're like on diets is like not being able to stop thinking about food. Basically, like so obsessed with food as if it were like some sort of crazy addiction that we cannot stop thinking about food. And then often, once you get off of the diet, you actually gain back all the weight. And, ooh, as if it were like a little bit of a extra prize, let's pack on a few more. The truth is, when we're eating, there's so much noise, so much noise, so much noise. We're so hungry. We feel out of control. We feel out of control. We feel out of control. When we come back, we have cravings stronger than before, stronger than before, stronger before. We eat more. Basically, then they even show like metabolism and just like creeping to a halt, creeping to a halt, creeping to a halt. And what do we do in order to maintain skinniness or like get back on that horse again? Oh my God, we find either a new one or we just torture ourselves with some of the most insane ways of like just restricting ourselves. And yet I'm going to say it again. Let's look over to other countries where most of them are not fat. Maybe some are a little overweight, but they don't have the obesity that we do. Why? Why is it that we can't eat regular food and not be obese? Let's do the little sort of do, 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 do. And why is it after you have been on a diet that you feel that you have failed, that you personally have failed, and most likely you feel like your freaking body failed you and you hate, 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 hate your body. You are literally turning against your body. You are also most likely out of complete, and this starts at such a young age. Oh my God, 6 years old. You don't even know how to do math yet. And yet you're doing the mind fuck math. You have lost all sense of your body cues. You don't even know how to listen to your body. And matter of fact, you've been trained from a very young age to not listen to your body, to not listen. I ask you as we wrap up today, because wow, what a doozy of an episode. Holy moly, I didn't see that coming. And I was just about to go get myself a burger. I ask you to really take a step back and look at this part of the uneven playing field, because there are so many things that have literally tripped you up. There are the things, just the normative ways that we have trained children, mostly women, young girls, by the age of 6, maybe 8, but by for sure 10, to start dieting and to literally restrict their calories so that they fit into some template of a template for other people, i.e., the male gaze. So women at the age of 6, 8, 10 are now concerned with what men think of how they look. Ooh, that is a very, very uneven playing field. Let's go further. The food that we eat is manufactured in such a way that it is high density food and not necessarily high nutritious food. So we also are at a huge battle with the food that we eat in America. Oh, and third, we have cut off all the cues. Sorry, cues, not listening to you, as to what our body actually needs. Our body actually is so intelligent, and it will tell you when it's thirsty. It will tell you what it is hungry for, and it will tell you when it is sated and when to stop. Your body knows how to do all that. Your body did not need to go to school or to college or to any kind of programming in order to do that. It has done that for millennia, and it will do it for millennia beyond this incarnation. Yes, my lovely, lovely, lovelies. It is time to actually set down your fucking mindfuck math and decide maybe you are worth fighting for. Maybe dieting ain't the answer. And maybe there's something far more profound than being on the diet uneven playing field. I will see you next week. We have more to dig into, because God bless us all. We're so terrified of being fat and ugly. We got to flip the script. Okay, bye all. Okay, you fabulous boos. I'll see you next week where we dive in just a little bit deeper into this hornet's nest of why we hate our bodies so darn much. Ooh, gonna be a doozy. I'll see you next week.